Hello students, and welcome to your European economics lesson. Under these rather strange circumstances, I think this is the first time I've ever given a lesson by video. Your lessons won't be on Teams because I don't have a microphone that fits into the right computer, so everything will be on the website, all the links will be on the website, and I'll talk you through the PowerPoints. And today we're going to look at crises and crashes. This is a suitable subject with the current coronavirus crisis. And we're also going to see the link between financial crises and health. And to help us do that, we're going to look especially at tulips. And we're going to look at tulip mania, which was the first speculative crisis. And we're going to look at the relationship between flowers and health and why flowers are important. And oranges, very cheap at the moment, very easy to obtain, but they weren't. And they were also a sign of wealth, and one of the reasons that in the Loire Valley, in the chateaus, a lot of the chateaus have what is called an orangery, where you keep your oranges throughout the winter. So, first of all, I presume that you are already on the website. We're going to start off by looking at the link called Flowers to Prevent Death from the Plague. So if you can open that up at the same time, if you split your screen. And here you can see this miraculous woman from the Netherlands. Miraculous because she stayed alive during the Great Plague for 10 years just by smelling flowers. And you can see in her hands she has what is called a posy of flowers. And this is because during the Great Plague killed between 75 to 200 million people. It decimated Europe by 30 to 60%. Sorry, decimated is the wrong word because it means 10%. 30 to 60% of Europe died from the Great Plague. And people didn't know how the plague was transmitted. They didn't realize that it was from fleas on rats, so they made a lot of mistakes. Like in London, they killed all the cats and dogs. They thought they were transmitting the disease. They didn't realize that cats catch the mice and rats that were transmitting the disease. So anyway, in those days they thought that a nice smell from a posy of flowers or from herbs or from an orange could save you. Hence the importance of having flowers in a posy. And if you go to the next link, called pomander, and here you can see a gentleman holding up an orange in his hand, and it's not just an orange. In the orange he's punctured it with cloves. Cloves is a spice. Smells quite strong, and he's holding it up. To have a portrait made in those days is very expensive, so this shows the fact that he has an orange is a sign of wealth. So important this was it that, as I said, chateaus, castles, later on in Britain, but initially in France, had an orangery. The orange trees would be outside in the summer. They were often in boxes where you could put planks under them to lift them up and take them into your orangery to keep them alive in the winter. An orangery had glass to allow the light in, and that was a sign of wealth as well because glass was expensive. So you could then imagine the king or the aristocracy taking people around their orangery, in the England Chatsworth House, for example, to show people their oranges, and if you were lucky enough to have an orange, probably not to eat, very expensive, but also to scratch the surface, to smell it if you go out into the streets, in the town, There were no sewers, so therefore it smelt pretty awful with excrement running down the streets. So you would take your posy of flowers or your orange, your pomander, to have a good smell, to supposedly keep you alive. So what we're going to see is, first of all, speculation and crises and crashes. And we're going to start with a film about tulips, which was the first speculative crisis. This is a tulip I've just dug up from my garden this morning. It has a bulb at the base, grows, you've got the leaves, and then a flower. This probably cost me about 10 cents to grow, to buy the bulb, to grow the flower. Flowers, therefore, they originally had an importance in terms of their smell. There's actually a nursery rhyme you can look up called Ring a Ring of Roses. It's a children's game. They all hold hands in a circle, and it goes, ring a ring of roses, a pocket full of posies, your flowers, a tissue, the first sign that you've got the plague, we all fall down. And they all die. Of course, the children, when they're playing this game, they don't understand that they're actually evoking the death from the Great Plague. So, what is the value of a flower? Well, if you're going to grow it in your garden, if it's for prestige, you want to show people that you've got the biggest and best tulips, better than anybody else, so it's a sign of wealth. But speculation is not about having the object, if you like, it's about making money from the increase in value. Therefore, if you're speculating in bulbs, you're not going to buy the bulb and plant it. You're going to buy the bulbs, wait till the price goes up, and sell them. And that was the first speculative crash, if you like, once the bubble bursts. That happened in Europe. So we're going to start off with that. So you can switch me off now and open up the film Tulip Mania, and then after that we'll then go through the presentation on crises and crashes.